History is written by the victors, but what happens when the victors don't just defeat their enemies? What if they erase them? Not from the battlefield, from history itself. We think we know the great chapters of the ancient world: Rome, Greece, Persia, the famous wars that shaped civilizations. But buried beneath those familiar stories are conflicts that almost disappeared completely. And one of them begins with an army marching confidently into a mountain pass and never marching back out. Welcome to Forgotten Wars, where we uncover the conflicts that time tried to bury. Our story takes us far from the familiar battlefields of Europe to the sun-baked plains and fractured mountains of the East. In the 3rd century BCE, two powerful forces collided in a struggle that would reshape the balance of power across the region. One side relied on discipline, rigid formations, unbreakable phalanx lines. The other understood something far more dangerous. You don't have to defeat an army head-on if you can make the land defeat it for you. And somewhere in those mountains, a trap was waiting. For decades, scattered records hinted at a battle involving tens of thousands of soldiers. They entered a narrow mountain pass, but according to the story preserved in later accounts, almost none came back. So why don't we learn about this battle in school? Why did such a massive conflict disappear from the historical record? The answer may be darker than simply losing a war, because the empire that suffered the defeat allegedly tried to erase the campaign itself. Records disappeared, monuments were altered, and the names of commanders who once terrified entire armies slowly vanished. The victors didn't just win the war, they tried to steal the history of it. But they made one mistake: they forgot about the ground. Thousands of years later, archaeologists began digging beneath the desert sands, and what they uncovered raised an impossible question. What if the official version of the war was wrong? Beneath layers of earth were the remains of a forgotten citadel, a fortress that had seemingly been untouched for more than 2,000 years. Inside were weapons, armor, and evidence of mass death. The objects weren't just remnants of a forgotten battle. Together, they appeared to tell a story of a military disaster on a scale far larger than a simple border conflict. This was something else. To understand what happened, we have to go back to the beginning. Beyond the borders of the Roman frontier, deep inside the fractured valleys of the East, a confederation of tribes had built a military force almost entirely from scratch. They had no grand monuments celebrating their victories, no endless statues of emperors, no sprawling imperial propaganda machine. They had something simpler: survival. Then the region's imperial superpower demanded total submission. The tribes had two choices: submit or fight. They chose neither quietly, they chose total war. The attacking empire believed the campaign would be easy. Its army marched forward with confidence. Tens of thousands of heavily equipped soldiers advanced in rigid formation, veterans of previous campaigns. They expected the local forces to see the approaching army and run. Instead, the mountains came alive. The local commander refused to fight on the enemy's terms. No glorious open field battle, no perfect formations meeting in the middle. Instead, the terrain became the weapon. A narrow pass here, a hidden position there, an ambush from the cliffs. Then another and another. Every attack removed a few more soldiers. Every mile forward made the invading army weaker. Then something strange began happening. Scouts disappeared, supply lines were cut, messages stopped reaching the main force. Soldiers who had entered the mountains expecting an easy victory were suddenly surrounded by uncertainty. Where was the enemy? How large was their force? And more importantly, how do you fight an enemy you can't see? By the third week, the expeditionary force was no longer advancing. It was trapped. And that's when the real battle began. The final confrontation lasted less than 20 hours. But those 20 hours would echo for centuries. The invading force was squeezed into terrain it could barely maneuver through. The soldiers couldn't easily retreat. Their supplies were running out, and every attempt to break through exposed them to another attack. Thousands were lost. The battlefield became a graveyard. And then, the survivors disappeared into history. When news of the disaster finally reached the capital, the response was extraordinary. Reinforcements could have been sent. Another army could have been raised. Instead, according to the story, the campaign records were ordered destroyed. Think about that. An empire had just lost an enormous military expedition, and instead of celebrating the dead or documenting the defeat, it tried to make the defeat disappear. But you can't burn every piece of evidence. You can't erase an entire battlefield. And you certainly can't erase the ground beneath your feet. Because centuries later, someone found a sword. It was buried beneath the dirt, weathered, silent, almost meaningless at first glance, but when the sword was pulled free, something else was revealed. A hidden passage, then another, and another. The tunnels appeared to lead directly toward the heart of an underground fortress. And what waited inside was even stranger. The dry desert air had preserved objects that should have disappeared centuries earlier. Weapons, armor, and rows of remains frozen in the aftermath of a catastrophe. It was as if an entire chapter of the war had been sealed underground, waiting. But the mountain fortress wasn't the final chapter. The most brutal stage of the conflict was still ahead. The great siege of the capital. The attackers weren't simply trying to occupy the city, they wanted to destroy it, its walls, its buildings, its identity. Everything that could remind future generations that the civilization had ever existed. The bombardment began. Stone cracked, defensive structures collapsed, and inside the city, civilians and soldiers were forced into the same desperate fight. Every hour brought the attackers closer. Every breach made the defenders' position worse. Until eventually, they were pushed back into the central citadel, and there the commanding general faced a choice: surrender, or make sure the enemy could never claim the fortress. He chose the second option. The defenders prepared the mountain stronghold itself. Then came the order: detonate it. The mountain split apart, the fortress collapsed. Defenders and attackers were buried beneath the same enormous mass of stone. When the dust finally settled, the city that had once stood there was gone. Not conquered, not occupied, erased. For nearly 2,000 years, nature slowly reclaimed the battlefield. Trees grew, roots spread through the ruins, the mountains became quiet, and the war disappeared from memory. Until one day, a shepherd noticed something unusual. A piece of metal was sticking out from beneath a tree root. He pulled it free. And that tiny discovery opened a much bigger mystery, because hidden inside the weapon were inscriptions pointing toward an alliance far more powerful than anyone had expected. Roots, names, connections between distant powers, evidence suggesting that the ancient world may have been far more interconnected than traditional timelines make it appear. Suddenly, the buried fortress wasn't just a battlefield, it was a missing piece of history. The victors had tried to burn the records, they had tried to bury the evidence, they had tried to turn an entire civilization into a footnote, or nothing at all. But history has a dangerous habit. It leaves traces: a sword beneath a tree, a fortress beneath the sand, a forgotten inscription on a piece of metal. And sometimes that's all it takes to bring an entire war back from the dead. This was one of the conflicts history tried to hide, but it wasn't the only one. Because somewhere beneath the ruins of another forgotten battlefield, another story is still waiting to be found.